Okay, so we have followed the trail of this false nation witness, which is represented by the olive branch. More importantly, the broken olive branch that was pulled off because it was unbelieving. It had unfaith. We know that unfaith was in Jesus Christ, which has represented a war on the church ever since. They have been warring on the church. So now that we know that this nation of witnesses has come together and is bearing witness, what are they witnessing? All right, that's the question. And remember Isaiah 43 verse 9, let all the nations be gathered together, and let the people be assembled. Let them bring out their witnesses. So these are their witnesses. Now when we're looking at verse 6, we're not looking at the witnesses for our Father, okay? We're looking at the false witnesses. We're looking at the actions of the false witness nations, okay? So why am I saying that? We're looking at the olive branches. Now all the nations of the world are beginning to represent themselves with the olive branch, especially as they align themselves with the United Nations and even the further agendas beyond the United Nations. So that's the clue right there. That's how we understand who this witness is that is doing and fulfilling this verse number 6. And let's read it. These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, and to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. Now, as I told you before, that is what we're already going through. It's what we've been going through. And we understand that we've been having droughts everywhere. We've been having floods everywhere. We've been having plagues everywhere. We've been having the earth smited, and it's been often. And everybody is blaming this on who? The governments of the world. In other words, the nations of the world. That's right. So you got to start thinking about things. You got to start thinking about the chemtrails and that they're linked to some of the most prosperous nations in the world. Not just the United States is this phenomenon going on. It's global. So it says it has power to smite the earth. Remember, I told you about a corporate being, that it was global. Well, we're seeing a global smiting in these nations of the world. Listen to the verse again. Let all the nations be gathered together, and let the people be assembled. Let them bring out their witnesses. These are the false witnesses, and they are witnessing in these powers of control over the weather. Now, I told you they're doing this with weather modification in many ways. The chemtrails are multi-purposed, of course, but weather modification is definitely either a byproduct or the main cause. But at the same time, we've got to think h.a.a.r.p, which is also multi-purposed. Let me show you something here. I want to show you and turn it back one page. Now remember, h.a.a.r.p and all this weather modification is connected to the nations of the world, which are represented by the olive branch, which is the false witness. So these are the false nation witnesses. Okay? So I've just turned the page back. We're at chapter 8 in the book of Revelation. And what I want you to see here is going to be verse 5. All right? Now pay close attention. I'm going to read this. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar and cast it into the earth. And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. All right, so what we see here is that there is an angel that is taking some sort of censer from the heavens filled with fire from this altar, okay? And it is casting it into the earth, all right? And then as a result, we have these voices, thunderings, and lightnings that result in an earthquake. Now these passages tie up directly with what we were just looking at in verse 6. And I'm going to explain to you what I perceive all of this to be. I'll be back.